So we're going to kick it over to the presenter here in just a minute, but first we'll go around the room and do some introductions.
This is a recap for everyone who hasn't been here in a while.
Yeah.
Not calling anyone out specifically.
No specific people.
Just this squad.
Anyways, again, I am Trezzy, your MC. I'm also a senior software engineer for Mobile Doorman. We are currently hiring engineers. If you're interested or you know anybody that's interested, you should definitely talk to me after the event. I'm also a CTO services consultant.
My name is Josh Helling. I'm one of the co-organizers here. My background is in software product development. I consult with growing companies on technology and product strategy.
My name is Diana Pastrana, and I am the new executive assistant at Aldebaran.
Where again?
It's at Aldebaran. It's a biotech company located in University Research Park.
How's that spelled? Nice.
I can't spell it out loud. I'll work on that one.
On the things to do before day one.
I can type it.
Let's move over here.
Everyone, I'm Zach Blumenfeld with SafetyNet. It's an innovation center focusing on financial wellness and culture.
Mitch DeWitt and Walker Condon Financial Advisors, and we basically try to help our clients achieve focus and clarity around their future.
Hey, I'm JJ. I'm making an app called City Fixer for people biking and walking, so I report things like ways.
Hi, I'm Keith Fuller, and I'm the founder of a service in town called All About EX, and we handle all things people for startups.
I'm Kayleen. I teach programming at Madison College, and I run my business.
Hi, I'm Theo, and I sell artwork online.
I'm Kathy Martin, and we do pre-build. We do two things. We do training for the military on weekends. We do pre and post deployment. We do resiliency and suicide prevention training for families, so they're more resilient during deployment.
And I'm Dr. Bruce Martin, and on our weekdays we actually do pre-build marketing, which is social media marketing, and it just launched here probably, well, we just launched in January, and it is a program, an app that writes content, adds your pictures and posts, and all at the same time. We call her Amy. She's a very powerful woman. Okay. And by the way, we're from Minneapolis, and we do a million cups in Eden Prairie, and then also in St. Paul and Minneapolis. And I'd have to say that by far, this is like the coolest, million cups right here. This is so thank you for having us.
Hey.
Yeah.
Your MC talents are appreciated.
I'm Leah Rowe, co-founder of a company called Rowe & Co., and we help companies with revenue strategy, operational efficiency, people, and culture.
I'm Dan Rowe, I'm the co-founder of Rowe & Co. And I used to work in a big accounting firm. I was in Chicago, transferred here to Madison, and realized how many great small businesses there are that just need a lot of help. They're being underserved, so we created Rowe & Co. to serve them, and it's going really well.
I agree.
Yeah.
Extremely biased. Exactly. Good morning, I'm Heather Ewing. I'm a commercial real estate broker with White Box Commercial Property Group. Our focus is retail, so it's the restaurants, fast casuals, hard goods, fitness, clothing, all the neat stuff. I also represent landlords, owners, developers, and also the tenant side.
I'm DP Knudten. I'm a creative collaborator who works with people on everything from custom writing to full-bore nonfiction branding. If you want to know more about that, come here next Tuesday at noon. I'm talking about more than a logo, building a brand that creates, attracts, engages customers, etc. So most of you guys already know that spiel, but all right, be there.
I'm Dan Anderson. I work for the accounting firm Baker Tilly.
John Helt, Springfield Welding and Mass Case Products.
Molly Fitzgerald, looking for new opportunities.
Steve Claude, co-founder of 32 Auctions, platform for hosting and managing fun, easy, successful silent auctions.
Travis Human, I own Stray Cat Bicycles, but I am also looking for new opportunities.
I'm Derek Kepler. I'm with 10 News. 10 News is a digital platform for TV stations, radio, and newspapers.
All right. our helpful lead organizer here, just trying to make sure I don't forget anything.
Yeah, very helpful.
Yeah, like those. I do those at the end. I do those at the end.
Okay, at the end.
Yeah, so we'll do those at the end. Don't worry about that. Anyways, quick thank you to our sponsors, Starting Block for their continued support, and Dream Bank for the beautiful space. And with that, we'll go ahead and kick it over to Parent Squad. Let's hear it for them.
Hi everyone, I'm Danielle and I'm the founder of ParentSquad. And I'm curious, before I get started, I want to know my audience, how many of you, by a show of hands, are a parent, no matter if your kids are in diapers or moved out and have their own kids? Okay, so majority. And then how many are actively parenting a child under 6? Okay, so congratulations for making it here. Feel free to get up and get extra coffee at any time, I understand. So 2.5 years ago, I became a mom to this young child named Philip. And as you all appreciate as coffee lovers, I am introducing him, being a good mom, introducing him to the idea of coffee at a very young age. He actually helps me grind my beans in the morning and start the coffee machine. And I think, like most people, was not fully prepared for what parenthood really was. People always say it's going to be the hardest yet most rewarding thing that you ever do, which is absolutely true. But I think I interpreted that as hard in hard tasks that I had encountered in my studies or my work life that you could master with patience and practice, diapering, discipline, potty training, things like that. And what I failed to realize, and I think we don't talk enough about in our culture, is the emotional hardness that comes with parenting. And that doesn't really get better with practice or patience and can wear you down really quickly if you don't have the support system in place that you need. So by emotional hardness, I mean the doubt and fear and general guilt that you have as being a parent, and the worry that you're going to screw them up for life somehow by what you're doing. And then also the deeper isolation and loneliness and frustration that you can feel by no longer being in control of your time and no longer being able to do the things that you necessarily want to do or see the people that you want to see. And feeling like your life has been taken over by this creature that has invaded your home, who is adorable and you love them, but still they are all-consuming. And so I myself felt this, to this day, this lack of ability to focus on my own interests, lack of ability to go out to events that I see, things like at the Dream Bank or things, networking opportunities that would be really great for me, I can't go to because I have to be home with my son. And perhaps it's more accurate to say that I feel like I have to be home with my son. I'm very lucky. I have a husband who's very engaged, more than willing to watch the kid if I want to go out. I have multiple grandparents in the area. I have the means to hire a babysitter. But all of those options involve negotiations and logistics and stress of trying to figure it out. So oftentimes when I'm too tired at the end of the day, I just prefer to stay home, which is great in the short term, but in the long term leads to frustration and resentment and not so great feelings. So about a year ago, I began to dream of this place where I could go and have all these opportunities that I was craving, the ability to connect with my husband, the ability to meet new friends, learn a new hobby, connect with other peers, and on-site childcare would be included so that I could just take along my child, leave them, know that they were with safe and capable hands, be able to go and relax, and know that if I had to deal with anything, I could go back to the room, deal with it, and then return, and I could really relax into that restorative experience and have fun. So this vision, coupled with my interest in entrepreneurship and I have a master's degree in public health, so my whole interest is trying to help people be healthy and happy individuals. I decided to do a market research survey in July of last year in a local parenting moms group, just to reach out and see if this idea resonated with other people and if there was a business opportunity. And what I got back was a very clear and enthusiastic response, 100 responses within 48 hours of these moms clamoring for something like this. They all felt isolated, overwhelmed, and frustrated. They all have young children. They don't feel like they have the capacity to get out. And when I asked them what their top barrier was to getting out to events in their community that they were interested in, no matter if it was a cooking class or just going out to eat with their spouse, lack of childcare was the top reported barrier. So 88% of my respondents said that lack of childcare prevented them from getting out to events that interested them otherwise. So 88 out of 100 people cited that as a barrier. Versus only 49% said that cost was a barrier. So what this showed me is that there is a large segment of the population that have interest and the financial capacity to get out to events, but are not able to because they don't have childcare available to them. And then I also asked them specifically if we had on-site childcare at things like a restaurant or a class, would that increase their interest in coming? And depending on the event category, it was anywhere from 50 to 8, let me make sure I have my numbers right, 50 to 60% said that they would be more likely to come if childcare was available on site. And between 12 and 20% said that they would only come if childcare was on site. So what this basically boiled down to is that yes, there was a business demand for this sort of service, and we could potentially be helping businesses and other event organizers get more people to their events because they have this large pool of people that are very interested in coming, have the financial capacity, but just because of logistical barriers with childcare aren't able to come. So I went ahead and started building this grand experiment called ParentSquad. We are an event company that organizes events specifically for parents, taking their needs in mind and having on-site childcare at the event. This is a novel business concept. I cannot find this concept in place currently anywhere across the US. I've done a lot of competitor research and reached out to people that have similar models in terms of the childcare component, but no one is coupling these two together. We currently work on a pop-up basis, so we partner with events around Madison to hold our events. We don't have one set location. While that has some challenges with it and finding the right space, it does keep our operating costs low and allows us to get around to different segments of the city and hopefully increase access. We have a team of childcare staff that are highly qualified. They all have passed background checks. They are CPR first aid certified. Most of them work full-time in childcare or have childcare degrees. And so these are not, high schoolers that I'm plucking off. These are highly qualified childcare that people can feel really safe and comfortable with. We sell all-inclusive tickets for the event. So you purchase a ticket for 1 adult or 2 adults. Your food and your drink, your entertainment entry is included, as is childcare for up to 2 children. And then we also sell tickets that do not have childcare in it in case you want to bring a friend or a family member, or you have childcare set on your own. And then while we're selling an event ticket, what we're really selling are these concepts of freedom, the ability to get out and do the things you want to do, social connection, reconnecting with your spouse or your friends or making new friends, convenience, taking away the logistics of having to find and pay a babysitter, and then the peace of mind that your kids are having fun, they're safe, and they're nearby, so if you need to go and handle an issue, you can do that and come back. And then I was also going to mention, so right now we're in Madison, but my long-range goal for this is to expand to other cities. I think this concept can be replicated in any number of cities across the Midwest or the US. So if we get established in Madison, I'm definitely looking to grow. So currently we have 6 event staff on the team. We have scheduled our first events for April and May, and our ticket sales launched a couple weeks ago at the end of March. And so our first 2 events coming up, we have a happy hour on April 30th, in the evening on a Tuesday out at the Thirsty Goat in Fitchburg, and then we have a brunch date in the morning on Sunday, May 19th, out at Buck and Honey's in Sun Prairie. So both of those, we have 2 event spaces rented, one for the adults to mix and mingle and have their experience, and then a completely separate room out of eyesight and out of earshot for the children to play. We have a full catalog of toys and games and activities that we bring along and move into the room, and our childcare staff check the kids in and out. And we have begun selling tickets to those events. However, ticket sales have been slower than I had hoped to start. And so my ask for you is to help me sell out my first 2 events and figure out what I need to do, who I need to talk to, who can help me promote these events. So specific questions that I have, right now what I've been doing for promotion mostly is social media and word of mouth. So I do have Instagram and Facebook followings. I started those back in August, and I have a couple hundred on each of those as well. So far, I have an email list of about 150 people started already, so I've been utilizing that as well. But largely, I get a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of positive comments, a lot of likes, shares, interested, but they're not converting to sales. And so what I'm curious, and I kind of want your feedback and your ideas about, is do I have a problem with my message? Am I just not communicating my value strongly enough? Am I not talking to my target audience well enough? Am I just not reaching my target audience? And then, I got lots of ideas in my head, but what's the most impactful way that I can, at this point, with 2 weeks to go to the happy hour and a month-ish to go to the brunch date, who can help me promote, and what should I be doing over the next few weeks with limited financial resources and also time resources, because I have a full-time job too, and I'm a parent. So, this is my last slide. So those are my questions. I kept my overview brief so that we have more time to chat, and I'm happy to answer additional questions if it helps you give me feedback.
What's the price point?
So for the happy hour event, it is a $70 ticket for 2 adults. Includes food for the adults and the children, and childcare for up to 2 children.
Okay, number one, you got to have that as a core message, because I'm doing the math as a father of daughters and stuff. I can't get out, well, my kids are older now, but back in the day, I couldn't get out on a date under $100 because it's $40 for the sitter, maybe 50, and then a 50 on top of that. So you're telling me 70, I'm saving $30. And it's a guilt-free thing. Wow.
Yeah.
Lead with that, because the value proposition is huge.
Yeah.
And I think you're underselling that, because I agree your product is convenience and safety and all those things you listed, but that cost effectiveness, and it's not necessarily low cost, it's cost effectiveness, which is a slightly different concept. And number one, I think your product is cool. I think it definitely has the ability to get a lot of people, but that value proposition is definitely, if not the lead, it's an immediate follow-on.
Well, it's good to hear, because actually the initial chatter that I got back on Facebook was that I was too expensive.
Not if you do the math.
Yeah.
I mean, and you
so
should.
So I need to break down the math.
And frankly, you should do the math. Like if you had an Instagram that had multiple images where you said cost of sitter, cost of dinner, cost of drinks, cost of tip equals blank, cost of this at X minus whatever it is.
And you could, honestly, you could do something. We've been on a couple of dates in the past 2 weeks. We can give you actual stat information. I can go on your Instagram. I can say. It's been a while since I've been out. Yeah. No, and I can say, and our childcare provider is one of your childcare providers, so I can literally say what the going rate is for somebody with that amount of experience. Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah. We pay her $16.50 an hour. $16.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking a teenager, it's hard to get a teenager a babysitter for under $10.
Yeah, and this is a very qualified.
Yeah, exactly. Totally different.
I think I got to charge more money. I'm grandpa. They're always having you come over, and it's like,
hey, say it, Grandpa, but we know your version of babysitting is.
Yeah, and then the 4-year-old comes up and slaps you there.
Exactly. And you got to repaint the bedroom again.
So I have a kind of a leading question. Is the point to reconnect with your spouse or meet new people? Because that's a message confusion I'm getting. Am I there to meet other parents who have children the same age as my kids? Because you have a pretty narrow window for what age you're accepting. So is this networking, socializing, or am I trying to be there with my spouse? Do you seat people at one table, or do you do people at individual tables?
We weren't splitting up people at the event, but that tension is something that I felt as well in terms of, I'm wondering, am I better off launching as we do dates and being very clear about that and then expanding in the future? Because I feel I'm coming at this from a public health background where I'm thinking holistic health, so we need to have the outlets for hobbies, we need to have outlets for work life, and the whole wheel of health. But maybe I'm better off being really specific in my initial events and then expanding as brand buzz.
Yeah, so although there's plenty of fathers out there who would love to watch the kid when you go out, I could almost see this being like a mom's night out, but bring the kids, leave the dad at home kind of a deal.
And I am thinking about
just socialize.
Yeah. Well, and let's face it, moms are my target market.
Yeah.
I think as you launch this, you got to let the market tell you where you need to be. Right. Number one, there's a massive need.
Yeah.
How people define it for themselves is going to be slightly different, and you might think that, oh, we thought it was all about A, and then you find out, no, it's all about X.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, the idea of having a market extension of this, have the moms only, have the dads only, You know, these are things to work on as part of your menu of services, but that's down the road, because your immediate need right now is it to sign up, do people do Eventbrite or some?
It's for Eventbrite, yeah.
Okay. Again, that's super easy, so that's a convenience thing that needs to be talked about immediately. Stuff like that.
Get over here.
Yeah, first I didn't realize if the kids were getting food too. I guess I should have understood that. But
Yeah.
Maybe advertising that as well. Like that adds to the cost of babysitting, right? I leave an extra $20 for an order pizza or something.
Right.
And then something that works well in Wanakee, which is like kind of what you addressed in the beginning, where it's separate. It's childcare, event. Is they do a parents' night out at the Village Center, and for 4 hours for like super reasonable. Like I drop my kids off, go anywhere. Right, and so I think tailoring them together is awesome. I think that there's a lot of potential there, but maybe we can. What went well? Why is that working so well?
Right, yeah. And I know Sue actually at the
Oh,
center already.
yeah.
So we had a book club event, or we still have a book club event scheduled on May 8th. We haven't sold tickets to that, so we're putting my focus on other things, but that was supposed to be at the Village Center.
Okay.
But yeah, I can talk with her about.
Yeah, why does that work? Because I don't even know if it just does. Maybe it's the length of it or something?
Yeah, well, so it's older kids, and it's also, you can drop off and leave premises, so it's a little bit different.
Okay.
Which I can see the value of being able to run errands and go do your own thing for that period of time, so it's a little bit different. I hope.
Yeah, so I guess, first of all, like following through with some of those part of mine, it's like, I would do multiple events, I would just watch how they would do, I guess I would like to market, so you said the outside. And it sucks to just throw these all out there, but I would do it quick and fast, you can get your market quicker. Two, I do a lot of event marketing, and literally everyone signs up at the last moment. Yeah, so it's a headache, because you got to figure out your costs and all this, and when you get like 5 people sign up and then 50 sign up the day before.
Right.
So I wouldn't worry as much about that. And then third, I guess, for you, I would go out to other events that people are going to, so, find like a big social event. And there are probably parents there who have their kids at a babysitter who say, hey, by the way, I'm doing this, and next time, would you go out if I would give you service? So go to a major event and network and that. That's kind of a social gathering anyways, because you probably have parents sitting there thinking about their kids at home. By the way, this is what I do. And they're like, oh my God, I could go out next time with help already.
Sure.
Have you, I guess, forged any partnerships with daycares who already have kind of a, group of people, they already have a customer base, and just say like, hey, additional service, I would like to do this thing for the evenings, your parents would probably appreciate that, so they can have a date night. At hours you're not operating at, you can probably find some, different price point kind of groups of people.
Yeah, that's been on my radar. I think, so this is the part of, I don't have a business background, so it's like what's possible in terms of those partnerships and like how do I actually go and like help make that happen. I think that's what I need to learn more, and so if anyone here wants to help guide me through that process.
On that, I think you're kind of approaching it from a business to consumer.
Yeah.
And I think going business to business might be a better choice, just because, then you don't have to like do a sort of piecemeal approach to it. And you can say like, hey, you're already a community, but you want to go out together and like get to know the other parents in your group, and like focusing on specific communities that already exist saves you a lot of problems.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I know I came in late, so I might have missed this part of it, but something,
I know in the previous life I worked for the YMCA, and we had before and after school programming, so those parents as well, and I've worked in the K-12 as well. You may want to look in the aspects of what are those teachers that you can talk to, that especially the younger kids who may be the younger students who may be the older in their family, may be looking for, mom and dad may be looking for something younger, so talking to those teachers in those schools would be a possible, I'm not sure if you found that resource, but they would be like, hey, we can help you at least spread the word, get in their school newspapers or their school handouts so that parents are more aware of it.
Going with like approaching businesses. So I have a friend who does magician shows, and he would sell piecemeal tickets out. But then he convinced the hotels to buy a block of tickets and say, hey, now he doesn't have to sell tickets anymore. So like going to like a big thing like Epic and saying, hey, how would you guys like to have like a family night for your employees? And it'll cost this much for a block of tickets, so to speak. You know,
It would be a great
they will
way
buy
to
it as, and then you don't have to worry about sales.
Yeah, and they have space. That's one of my
They
challenges,
look
not
at their
everybody.
money differently too.
Go ahead.
They look at money a lot differently than a parent will.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, this is deductible, sure.
Have you done any early bird ticket strategy at all?
I have not, but
That's
something
what you
I'm
can do
later
today.
to counteract the late sign.
Yeah, because what you do is you figure out the money you need to make, and that's your early bird price.
Okay.
Then you have your, oh, you didn't sign up for early bird, now I get my gravy premium price. You can create an early bird ticket today on Eventbrite, publicize that as your kind of screaming hot deal, where you're, again, talking about the value proposition, and you can front load some of those sales. And ideally, you can sell out in early bird. You may not get that premium bump, but you'd rather be sold out. So early bird and have a strategy that then people understand. Down the road, you should look at subscriptions too, where people could subscribe to the service long term.
Yeah, we do have a membership thing that I'm working on to give you, first access to events or discounts or you buy access to premium for only events and things like that. Once we're
Yeah.
With the early bird thing though, if anyone's bought tickets yet, make sure you think about them too. Because I've bought tickets and things before, and then early bird pricing started, and I was super pissed.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why you contact them and say, hey, we're giving you the early bird price because you know, and they feel warmer toward you. And then you can offer them, by the way, if you have a friend, we'll give them the early bird price, even if it's past early bird, deadline.
Yeah, so when I did my ticket, I had to do a ticket rebundle, just the original way that I had it set up, which is confusing. And so when I did that, it actually dropped the price for our first person that purchased tickets. So I already reached out to her and did the refund. But interestingly enough, she lives in Portland and she's moving to Madison and found us and gave me a really great message about, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm so lucky I found you. You're finding me, making me friends and providing childcare. Like, you're amazing. So the newcomers to town, that's a new target market that I hadn't really thought about, but that's someone that I want to target too. So.
On those two events that you have planned?
Yeah.
There are the times, 5 to 7?
Yeah.
10 a.m. Okay.
Yep.
Was just wondering about
Yeah.
timing.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have a taco bar at the happy hour, and so taco bar will be provided to the children.
Have you gotten any reaction from parents? A lot of couples go out and have a few drinks.
Yeah.
But you drive them home with just
So the way that we...
children on.
Right, so we structure it as you have one drink included in your ticket price to limit risk, and then if they want to have a second drink, they can buy that, but then that's between them and the bartender where they're at.
And then I had the opportunity to go to the Wisconsin Tavern League Association, the conference that they had up there, and Thirsty Goat was one of the speakers up there, and there are a lot of taverns, Thirsty Goat included, that has, a share ride. So if someone, so if they've had a drink or two, and the rides are free, so if they've had a drink or two and they don't want to drive, then they will drive home for them.
Yeah, we have.
No, it's not Uber. It's
that's another idea.
Yeah. This is a service that the Tavern League.
Have you done any physical advertising at some of these places? Like, if people are already going to the Thirsty Goat, do they see a sign that says, come back on Tuesday, April 30th, bring your kids, and oh yeah, we also have these other dates here. Like, I feel like the establishments themselves would be willing to put it up to sort of generate business for themselves, and then if you had everything listed on there, you could just print out one flyer.
Yeah. So I haven't yet, but that's definitely on my list of things that I want to get to. So yeah, definitely putting them, they've both signed on as co-sponsors on like the Facebook events, so like they're helping promote it online to their networks, but in terms of the actual signage, I agree that would be something that I need to get together, and there's might be value in posting at things like libraries and coffee shops and things too, but that takes time to actually run around to all those places, but I struggle to find, but yes, thank you.
What's your plan? It seems like a lot of children have allergies. nut, dairy, all these different things. What's your plan for that?
So as part of the registration process, I asked about any medical conditions or allergies, and then it's up to the parent if they want us not to feed their child because of those, then we won't. And we allow them to bring, they can pack snacks in their bag and we feed them those snacks instead. And we are also nut free, so we tell people up front, don't pack nut snacks, and then our staff are told if you buy a snack that has nuts, never turn it into the backpack and don't open it. So we are definitely aware of that and open to parents saying, I don't want you to feed my child, and let me come and feed them if you want, and we're willing to work with that.
So what is your cost to host like this happy hour and have a taco bar and all of that? Because I feel like you mentioned you have limited financial resources. Like, could you just do like a coffee shop meetup for moms in the morning at 10 a.m., drop in daycare, like just make it super easy. So if nobody shows up, you're only paying one person, they're getting their own coffee, but if they do show up, it's a $10 drop-in per kid, or, you know what I mean? Like something a little, like this seems very, like it's a lot. Yeah, like, and your expenses are probably higher with all this coordination.
Right.
Like, could you do kind of like, almost like back up and do like a minimum viable product or whatever you call it, and do something a little bit more stripped down and see if you can build up to that?
So yes, I could. The thing that I struggle with in my event spaces is that I need a place that has 2 areas. So I need a really good separate event room that is safe. It's pretty devoid of any like knickknacks and decorations, and needs to have a door and needs to be separate. And so I haven't been able to find a coffee shop that accomplishes those needs yet.
Common Ground in Middleton?
That's
Have you talked to them? They have like a separate room.
Yes,
area.
so I have met with her. The issue is that there's the room upstairs that I can put the kids, but then it would just have to be in the open area downstairs. There's not like a separate area for the event to happen. So, but in terms of like a coffee meetup thing, that could be
So moms could drop in and have coffee.
What about this room?
Yeah.
The concept, what you were talking about, Diana, was kind of a more casual version. I think this is kind of the date night level DEFCON 1 event for parents, which is, I don't know about you, but when date night for us is code for, dress it a little bit better, make it a little bit bigger deal. This is not just going out for coffee. And consequently, the date night has a premium association that garners the price you're asking for.
And that's a little bit what I struggle with. Common Ground, it works, but in terms of the aesthetics of the it's not exactly like, it doesn't go with my so this brand is like, I created this, I did our website, I did my logo, I did all my branding. And I don't have a background in this, but I wanted it to be very fun and hip and upscale feeling, and so something like this building would accomplish that. Common Ground's amazing, I love them, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely more of a cozy, relaxed, come as you are. And yes, I am trying to go for those like higher, like really, and my long-term version is to do like DJ dance nights and movie showings and like do really cool experiences that I can pay up the price even more because it's a really unique experience for anybody to come to, and really give you that feeling of like glamour and hipness that you don't typically get when you become a parent and get you back into that.
I just want to say, I mean, we have to do a lot of babysitting, and when we are not available, our kids are looking for things like this, and our grandkids go like a Montessori school, and they list them. If you're feeding, it's a great idea. If you're feeding the kids, our adult kids would jump on this, and they'd figure out the price of, the kids are getting fed, I'm getting this, and then we have a couple hours. They love those couple hour things. I just want to say, I think it's a great idea. I think you just have to tweak where you're getting your advertising. And my kids get it mostly from the community ed things that are posted, and then their schools post, this is available, this is available, this is available. So our daughter-in-laws are always looking for those. They jump on it.
And yeah, the reason I actually included food more so than just the value was because it's from 5 to 7. And so if you're hanging out from 5 to 7, you don't want to have to get home and either figure out dinner and get to bed.
No, and
this
the grandkids don't have to figure out dinner. You don't have to figure out dinner ahead of time.
And just from a health educator standpoint, the body can metabolize 1 drink an hour. So it's either 1 beer, 1.5 ounce shot, or 4 ounce glass of wine. So just saying, that's 1 ticket is very health education appropriate. Just saying, you're good. You're good. We're in Wisconsin, so even better.
Yeah, 5 to 7 would be 2.
Yep.
But from my attorney's standpoint,
Yeah.
we are giving you 1, and so then beyond that, it's not sanctioned by us. Yep. And they do sign waivers too, that it's a cop vote. I understand the risk of alcohol driving.
So is there anything about I feel like this sounds really couples oriented, so I mean that kind of, that's a specific group. Is there anything for single parents, or I just want to go out with my girlfriends or my guy friends and the kids, or I don't know what people are, but is there any other interest you think?
So the happy hour, I'm trying to build that as bring your spouse or bring your guy friends or your girlfriend. So that could be anything. But I am hoping to do single mixer nights because, single parents have a hard time dating. And so if you could have a place where you drop your kid off and then mingle and maybe find a love connection, that would be cool. So yeah, I'm definitely trying to tap into that market as well.
Yeah, and then pay for a single parent show up at one of these things oh, where's your spouse? It's oh.
Yeah.
And we've got time for 2 more questions.
So I have a question. Is your desire to host the events or to provide childcare to free up people? Because those are kind of 2 different paths.
So I thought about that. So I think most of my interest initially in the business was being an event organizer, and I didn't get into this to just be a babysitter rental vendor. However, I think there's definitely a revenue stream that I could go to conferences and existing meetings that already have their audience in place and just say, hey, you have parents, and I bet you could get more people to come if you have the service, will you hire me? So the more and more I got into this, I think that is a revenue stream that I should be taking advantage of, and maybe that's a better revenue stream to start off with and get word out about us, and then circle back to our own events once we have that buzz established.
And I think on that, if you can find the events that are big and that actually have a large price point, so sports events, the Sylvie, Breeze Stadium, Overture, that they're going to do a lot of events over and over and over, so you can find a space and a time and build a relationship with a couple of people. It's one thing if you're already spending $150 to go out to the Sylvie for the tickets, right? So you're not trying to do this price point thing, but you can establish your brand and then build from there.
Yeah, and legally what I need is I need a room on premises in order to be, because I'm not licensed. So I can be not licensed and do childcare as long as the parents remain on premises. So something like the Sylvie, I could do it in this room because it's the same building. So it doesn't actually...
Sylvie's over there.
I would have to check the parcel records. It's the same parcel technically. So
no, it's not.
Okay. They have
but they've got room in that building in the other areas that you can do. I mean, there are places that you could think about that.
Yeah, and Dream Bank won't allow commercial things anymore.
For wine and date nights.
So it's
starting block.
That would be huge. And there's times I can't come to starting block events because I have to.
Well, and there's times I can't come to starting block events that interest me. There's times I can't come to Dream Bank events that interest me, and so there's plenty of rooms in this building. So potentially that could increase attendance at both of those if we could have more parents on the site.
All right, well, let's hear it for Danielle. Danielle, you're gonna hang out for a little bit at this presentation? Great, and if anybody here wants to get in touch with you, do you have a slide you can throw up that information?
I don't, but I have business cards, otherwise it's ParentSquadEvents.com or hello@ParentSquadEvents.com.
Great, all right, so thanks again to everybody for coming. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't know why. Oh, that's right. Yeah, everybody, if you haven't already, make sure you install the app, the 1 Million Cups app, and check into the event. Helps us out with Kaufman Foundation stuff. I think that's it. Oh, that's not it. We're looking for a presenter next week, right?
Oh,
that's
yes,
true. That is true. It's a true statement that I just made. So if you or anybody you know is looking for an opportunity to pitch or present your opportunity like that guy back there just clearly is, then make sure to reach out to Josh Helling over here, who is our recruiter. That's it for today. Danielle, thank you again. Everybody have a good rest of your day.
So you got a new job.
Yeah.